Okay, how are we going there, guys? Let's get up and running. Hope we're all doing well. It's caught a bit behind the 8 ball today. Nearly come on a bit late, so we're all slowly coming in still. Just let me know that you can hear me clear, just so I've got everything up and running in case I've missed something on the setup. G'day Nathan, how are you, mate? G'day Greg. It's good, sounds like we're all good. I just wanted to mention, I've just spoken to a couple of people in the last few days about the stream. They're having a few issues, and I found out that anyone that wants to do the chat, if you're trying to get onto the chat and you can't for some reason, it's not taking you to the right website there, to the stream website. I think with YouTube, you've got to have a Google account to be able to chat through on the stream, so we can interact with get on the live chat. So if you haven't, just sign into one. You should be able to sign in and then use the the same link, which is, was it www.youtube.com/live_dashboard. And that should be us, I think, unless I'm wrong. Yeah, so you should get in there, okay. G'day, Paul. Oh, it took me a while to figure it out. I was trying it on I'm always constantly logged into, what do you call it, Chrome. And I was just talking about somebody and I couldn't figure it out, and I logged into something else and found out it wouldn't pop up when you put in the same link. So that's the issue if you are having a few issues. So hopefully everyone's fine, everyone wants to chat, has got it up and running. Even if you want to call me a few names, that's fine. I know Helen, if you're there, she enjoys a bit of banter. Right, let's get going. Big night in the US last night. Firstly, let's just start off with welcome to TradeSetup and the live stream. What are we now? The 18th of January, so we're having a bit of a struggle in the ASX, but the US is just powering along. Day after day, they kick higher, and we just flounder. So it looks like we opened up okay today, and then we're back down to, last I looked at it a few minutes ago, we're back down to nearly break even, same as close of yesterday. G'day Helen, I knew you were there in the sidelines, ready to taunt me. So yeah, let's just get straight into the charts. Welcome to anyone that's actually new, by the way. I know there's a few new people that come in and out and then listen to the stream later. Welcome. If you've got any questions, feel free to send through an email to support@tradesetup.com.au, and just remember to link into us on Twitter and Facebook. You'll see on the screen there, top left and top right, and then subscribe to us on YouTube. And the bottom right, that's our, I don't know what you call it, that's our link there, at TradeSetup.au. And then you'll go, every time we go live, you'll find a pop-up from YouTube. Let's get going. Let's minimize that. I've got to change my screens. I'll go black, and then there we go. So the US, let's just get straight into those charts. They were up, I think the Dow was up over 1%, nearly 1.5%, somewhere around there. I think the S&P was up over 1%, so very strong market. I don't know if they started off that strong, but it was good, some good reporting. I think 2/3 of the, well, say over 20 companies of the 30 that are reported have beat expectations. So they're well on track in general to beat expectations, which is good. It's going to drag the US higher. But then again, you just go and look at a US chart. Let's look at them now. For instance, the Dow, look at that. It's just starting to get overextended. Well, it's overextended anyway, but there's nothing to say we can't just keep, have a bit of a pullback, go again to new highs and new highs. It's just the way this is curving, it's going near vertical, which the more vertical, it leaves you to be the bigger the pullbacks. So obviously the bears are going to get excited when you see a pullback, and then they get washed back out of the market. And that's what's been happening consistently. The bears would have jumped in here looking for a sell-off. It's popped up, got excited again, and then it's just taken off, washed them out. Same thing here. If you can see that, I'll probably have to thicken it up a bit. Just in here. Bears got excited, got lower highs, pushing down, and didn't break the trend. It's just pulling back to the MAs and started heading higher again. The same here, same here, same here. So it's happening over and over again. Whereas our market, it's very tentative. Our SPY struggled to get up yesterday. Sorry, overnight. We'll take a look at that in a minute on the ASX. I'll start with the ASX and I'll go to the SPY. I just want to show you something on the SPY intraday charts on the 30-minute. That's the Dow, the FTSE, sorry, the S&P, I don't think has got the data. So the S&P, that's missing data. So it's actually, it's missing a day. That's the 16th. For some reason, it's not showing. Anyway. So the S&P's on its highs as well. You can see it's going near vertical. Whether that's a blowout and we're going to have a bit of a pullback, reversion back to the mean. I'm suggesting we're probably, the higher we go, the more likely we're going to have a complex correction. And it's going to be a deep complex correction with some lower highs, washing some people back out of the market. And then we'll see from there. You know, interest rates rise in the US. Cost of borrowing is going to go up for companies that have got, you know, had pretty good reporting on the back of lower costs. Or cost of borrowing because it's been so low. They're going to find to keep putting on the gains they've been doing the last year or so, I guess. I think that's going to struggle a bit. So there's going to be, there's going to be a time when I think a lot of heat's going to come out of this market, but we'll just have to see. You can't preempt it. You just got to trade what you see. Sip of the coffee. Let's look at, so that's the S&P missing a candle. The FTSE, look at that, powered onto new highs. I think we mentioned that a while ago. If we got off this lower high and popped up through these highs, we should continue on with it, and they have. Let's go to a weekly. It's pretty clear. You can see that popped up. So they're getting extended up here as well. You know, both the daily and the weekly. The DAX is probably, DAX is a bit, it's fallen short of the all-time highs, but it's got the potential here to build that high low and then bang up she goes again. Problem is, I think with raising, what is it, a stronger euro there, it's crimping. Some of these companies are struggling a bit at the moment with a higher euro, and they're looking down the barrel of, well, not for a while, I guess, interest rate rise as well. If the ECB, and that article we mentioned on, was it Monday? Did anyone get to read that? Have a bit of a look at that. That was good. That was a good chat about interest rates rise and the dilemma and they're in at the moment. They're not worried about what is it, crimping growth. They're more worried about slowing it down. I think that's the urgency at the moment, is potentially raising rates. So across the board, which we'll see how equities go. A lot of heat's going to come in this market, I'd expect. Let's look at the ASX. There you go, a good solid pullback there. What I'll do, I'll put it here. We'll get the overall chart just to take a look at it. I've got a few things I'm probably just going to rush through today. Just want to take a look at crude as well. I just want to show the SPY. So we had a decent correction here. And you can see off that base through here, we've had a good leg up, a pullback. So we've got some support down around that 59.25 level. And then we've had another leg up. It wasn't quite as strong as the original leg up. So, but it's just a good bit of heat's coming out of the market. So this pullback's very similar, you know, what we're seeing in scale. Probably is a bit quicker the first. Well, I think this pullback's a little bit deeper. You can see through that there definitely a correction, definitely corrective action at the moment. It's just whether we hold this high or low. If we just take it a few steps back, clean that up a bit. We've got, that's our anchor leg to this move up. And then we're just correcting that. So 1/3 to 2/3, it's around 50% retracement now of this leg up. So it's an ideal spot, and you can see the stochastics, the pressure pushing it down. It's only got to around 50% of the previous move up, and we're getting overextended to the downside. So look, it adds up to a bit of a pop higher again. So there's no need just yet to get too bearish, I'd say, on the market. And if you look over to the weekly, we'll take a look at the weeklies. Yeah, the weekly, really, that trend, it's the same thing. It's looking like it's rolling over. We could do a bit of consolidation up here and then bang, up she goes again. And we're still looking longer term. If we take it from low to highs here, we've mentioned, and you take it, I think from this low to high, it takes us up to all-time highs. G'day, Clement. How are you, mate? It takes us to the all-time highs of somewhere around that, around 60. I'm looking on the wrong part, I know. Yes, anyway, 6,800. So there's still that chance we keep grinding higher. We're underperforming the rest of the world pretty much. I think we're down for the year, whereas most markets around the... G'day, Nando. Most markets around the place, Europe, US, everyone's up anywhere from between 3 and 6% for the start of the year. So we're well and truly underperforming. I read something on Twitter today about, if you adjust it for the Aussie, it's not so bad. But I don't believe that as such. That's a bit of trying to think up a reason. I think it's more the fact that we're a very tentative market. We're happy to go down, as shown by the last couple of days. We're happy to go down when we think it's overbought. We're just preempting a bit of a pullback. It doesn't happen. And then we grind our way higher. So 2 days down, 10 days up to get back to the same spot. So it looks like that's the nature of our market. So we've got to remember that. We've just been slowly grinding higher. Everyone else is going to new all-time highs, and we're just ticking along slowly, even though commodities have been doing well. Still not so good. Our banks are, where are they at the moment? Still not looking that great. I mean, let's quickly look at the banks while we're here. Look at that. That looks like it's got lower highs in here. Got a major high low here. If we just drill that back, major lower high. This is on Westpac. So it could hold up, but that's just not looking like very nice price action. It looks like it could easily get through 30 and make a deeper correction. So that's longer term move lower. CBA is looking a bit better. Again, that major lower high at 70 and really popped up, correcting lower. And this looks more susceptible to a move higher than lower from here. Just the price action on CBA. NAB's a bit more messy. But then again, it's coming down on support level here for breaks through there. We could be targeting down towards 24. So they've all got a bit of a look of a sell-off to them. I mean, they are stretched to the downside. You can see on ANZ at least, stretched to the downside, but this potentially could be a lower high. We haven't quite figured it out just yet. It hasn't done anything to show clear signs either way. But if the banks are not looking the best, then you'd think our ASX is going to struggle a bit. Although they're not doing much, I guess, are they? There's still opportunity in the overall market, though. So where are we? I think we looked at the ASX, didn't we? Just get that back up. So yeah, that, like I said, that weekly. I want to go here, don't I? Get back up that weekly chart. That weekly's still moving higher. Oh, actually, we'll just draw that up. It's a weekly. Yep. Let's just draw that up and just to remind ourselves of what we're seeing. What's everyone else's view on the overall markets? I mean, you can see, especially not the overall markets, more the ASX. We're a bit extended up here. That's obviously, and you probably would expect a bit of heat to come out of the market, but don't expect a massive sell-off. Look at this, and that, if you can go up to here, that's the high. Didn't really do too much. Went sideways, and then it's banged back up again. So it's just dragging in some sellers, washing them back out of the market. So we may be in the process of doing that. The longer term trend is definitely up. We've had these moves up, pull back, a nice healthy move up, nice decent pullback. So this one from low to high here, that's what I was looking for. Taking that from around 4,000, I think it is. Just under 4,000 up to about 6,000, 2,000 points. Taking that from here of around 48, 2,068. So it's around the all-time highs. Yeah, there's a few things happening, and it's just, I guess everyone's expecting that rollover, and we don't. You can see the last few years since the GFC, we're not taking out the highs. Well, we did here significantly, so maybe this is just going to lead. We obviously going to go up, pull back, that's what's going to happen. We may just in the midst of a bit of a pullback, and then up she goes again, and we start targeting the 68 level, or who knows after that. But it could be all a part of this one, good healthy leg up. Yeah, that's true. That's true, Paul. And that's the thing. You can't bank on that. You can't sit on the sidelines banking on that it's going to roll over, because you can leave 1,000 points in the Dow. You can miss that completely. It's all about trading. I guess trading what you see, not second guessing. But everyone, I think the main point of expecting a correction and being on guard is, I guess, exactly that, is to be on guard and make sure your risk management is well and truly in place. For example, if you're trading, I just want to clean this up a bit. Let's just forget about that. Actually, let's put that back. We've got this leg up. Say if we're at this stage or any of these stages in the market, you can see that's starting to show signs. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful entry. If you see that type of signal, and then you've had a good healthy leg up, you've had a good correction, you've got a major high low, and then you're trying to work the next leg up, that's where you can get more aggressive. And your risk management, you can leave your risk management, I'd say, a bit wider on your individual stocks anyway. But when you're looking at this type of move, after you've had all this move and a good health, good leg up, and you're looking to buy new stocks here, or you've got some profits on the table, that's where you start tightening up a bit, because you don't want to, the probability is here, you've got a high probability it's going to go a nice leg up. You're getting the signs, the start of a new leg, showing high highs, high lows. The probability is that we're going to have a nice longer term leg up is quite high. Here, probability for continuation gets lower because you've already had a lot of water go under the bridge. Does that make sense, guys? And the same sort of, you're looking in this zone, if you're starting to buy, you've seen higher lows, even with this little pullback here, it was only in context to this correction. So you've had a correction, then we start to see some higher lows forming. Looks really good. And that's where you could be more aggressive, a bit more loose with your risk management on the individual stocks, knowing that the overall market is in your favor. But when you start here, we're sort of at that, we haven't got too far, whether we're halfway through a leg up or we're getting towards the end because we've just blown out through those highs is one thing. But just looking at the US, if you trade the US, you've got to be a bit tighter on your risk because that's near vertical, whereas we are obviously struggling a bit more. So I hope that makes sense, guys. I hope I'm not rambling on a bit more. This correction, we could see this is a nice little place for a high low to form. Bit of a washout, pop up, pull back, build a high inside high low, and off we go again. A bit like what we saw just in here. Some inside high lows, and then bang up we go and take out 61.50, get to 62, 63. Who knows? This would be way more important, yeah. Let's look at the S&P then. On the weekly, I'm guessing. Well, let's just draw that. Oh God, that's a lot, isn't it? Let's go to the monthly. Why do I want to do that? I want to try and make it look a bit nicer than that. That's probably a bit better. I'm guessing this is what you're... G'day, Wade. How you going, mate? Welcome. Alright, so look how extended that is. Yeah, this is one thing. I mean, look at how that was extended to the upside for, what, 4 years, 3 years. Who's to say we're not going to stay extended here as well? Maybe a bit of a correction like this, which is not too significant. That's only probably 21, what's that, 10%, 2,210 points. That's probably about a 10% correction there. We made a 10% correction there, nothing too significant, and then off we go again. But Helen was saying, I'm guessing that's a trend. Is this what you're looking at here? Or are we looking more? Oh, I don't really see too much of a channel just there. It's poked out. It's poked its head up out of that part anyway, out of that channel. Yeah, will do. Yeah, completely agree with you. Yeah. All right. Previous chart. This is the weekly. Maybe the Dow, is it? This is the S&P. All right, we've got a bit of a delay anyway. Oh, we'll get there. God, that's overshot as well. Look at that. It's beautiful on the Dow. ASX, okay. Yeah, true. Oop, don't want that. Yeah. I guess you're looking at, where are we? This is the daily. We'll get there, Helen. Hang in there. I know what you're talking about now. Let's just start that again. There we go. I'm guessing that's the one there. Take it across here. Maybe that's not it either. Oh well. I was looking at the daily and the weekly on the ASX. All right, let's just keep going. Let's keep plugging away. All right. Now I just want to quickly look at, while we're here, is the, where was it? I've got to find it now. The SPY. I was just looking at this the other day. That's on the, it's only on the 30-minute, but we've had a good little correction. So this, it's just what we're looking at. If we go back to the daily on, if we can probably drill in on that a bit more. This little correction here, you can see it's, you know, 1, 2 moves down like we like to see. The MAs are still up, so you would expect a bit of a reaction. And the way we've gone down to that oversold territory, and we're really still holding that high. We'll potentially, seeing your comment there, you can see we're in a nice little zone where there is potential we can hold this zone around 60.25, 6,000 and pop up and build that higher low. So that's what we'll be looking for. Now, if you put that in conjunction with what we just looked at on the SPY, this is the SPY 200 futures. We've had a good solid leg down, a corrective action back up, just washed out, you know, a level at 60.50. It's not really a minor level, washed it out that with a little pop higher, and we've had a second action leg down. All right, so that's your 2 legs down, and we're coming right into a support zone at 59.50 on the SPY anyway. And you can see, I like to see this. We've had a little washout last night before that pop higher. This was your anchor. We can just drill in on that. So what I'm looking at here is your anchor to that move. This move down, probably go back one. This move down is at 59.70, and we popped through that. We pushed up in that today. That's why, look, maybe that's why we all know that the markets are, you know, they can play around with the market, especially on the SPY at night, quite easily. Yeah, SPY futures traders, if they don't want it to go through, they can load up on the offer. You know, that sort of thing can happen quite easily. After that washout, it's going to lead a few traders to think that the market's still heading down. Instead, we've turned around, we've washed that level out at 59.50. We popped back up into the anchor level and pretty much closed there. And I think this was the open. Yeah, 9.50 we opened. We popped up through and we're pulling back. So what I'm looking for here is really maybe a retest of 59.50. I don't think we'll get that low, but I think we'll probably just grind lower and start to pick up into the European session, build a higher low. And then maybe if the US is positive tonight, we could kick higher back through 59.78, 59.88 and just have that more of a corrective action lower. Sorry. I'm going to get it right. Corrective action higher. And that's sort of based around these 2 moves lower. Does that make sense? So we could find that we're in the process of actually pushing higher. And if that's the case on the SPY, it may get a bit choppy from here. And we would expect that, considering the ASX has broken that sort of most recent uptrend, just broken down. We're just going into corrective action. So when you get corrective action, you get the bears will come out. They'll start hitting any sort of pop. If you get a pop in the market, they'll start hitting into it. And just got to see if we can get these high lows starting to build. Proof of buyers starting to step in. They're going to start squeezing these sellers that have been in the market the last few days, squeezing them back out and pressuring the market higher. And then we'll see if we can get the start of a new leg up. Anyway, it's still a lot of, we've got to see a lot of price action play out before we get that. But we'll see how we go. The next thing I just want to talk about, any questions on that, apart from you, Helen, because we're getting the charts wrong? Any questions just on that? Is it making sense? We're right at that, I think we're at that crux moment just now. There could be reason to believe we could pop higher, or this could just roll over. I mean, who knows? That's all right. Gives me a good laugh. Now, I just want to have a quick look at crude. I think there's potential for crude. This is it's a weekly chart. This is the highs. Let's just start marketing up. I wanted to get a box. Why can't I get the box? Anyway, so you've got the all-time highs. It's right up at 146 level. So this is the time when I was just selling options, just continually trading options. Hide for now. Selling options all the way up here, just selling calls. It was fantastic. And then we had this market just absolutely capitulated through the GFC. We ground our way higher. We got to, I don't know why that doesn't start. Pushed high to around that 114, 115 mark. If I can get that. So I'm a beginner on this program. Anyway, and now we've got this big, come on, what are you doing? Got this big base that's just formed, you know, found support at around the 33 mark. And we know with all the stimulus, EPT, yeah, we'll have a look at that in a second. So crude oil, with all the stimulus, OPEC cutting output, the US inventories are lower. You know, it's just been pressuring the market higher. We've held an inside high low. If you can see that there, around that, it's between 40 and 42, 43 bucks a barrel. We've held that inside high low, which is pushing the market up, and we've just cracked really a key level at 62. Just breached that. We're around that 64 mark at the moment. So I think this market could be just grinding its way higher. We probably due for a bit of a pullback at the moment. We've had that one leg up. We consolidated, had a few lower highs, pressure the market down, and we've had that secondary move up with high highs, high lows. Getting a bit extended up here, as you can see. We're around 64 at the moment, but we've got through that key anchor level. So I would expect that to maybe pop up a bit more, then have corrective action, build another major high low, and then off we go. And that would be interesting because I think there's going to be some good opportunities in some of these oil stocks. It's worth looking at. And the next major resistance zone is right up above 100 bucks a barrel, 114. That's just sort of your key resistance zone at the moment. But we'll see. Anyone else looking at crude while we're at it? All right. So we had, I thought I'd just touch on crude while we're here. I'm just trying to get through a few things before we open it up a bit more. Oh, what was that? Hope my desk is not falling apart. So you want a quick, if anyone did notice, we did send out an email, an alert on Ivycoin. I thought I'd just change tack here. On Ivycoin, they're opening up the ICO, which is the initial coin offering. So if anyone didn't get a chance to look through that alert, it's under the tab of IPOs, ICOs, capital raisings. You'll be able to see it under there. It's interesting. If you're into crypto, I know the cryptos have copped a bit of a pounding, but we all expected that. You can't keep going up on the, what is it? The sniff of an oily rag. Okay. So we did expect that, but there's still, you know, the one we're looking at on Ivycoin, I think it looks fantastic for me. I really like it, and I think that the prices that it's at on the ICOs, I think it's raising at 10 cents. The difference is, I mean, there's stacks of cryptocurrencies, as you would expect. Back when the mining boom was kicking off, you get people stake a claim in the ground, start a company, you know, do a capital raising, do an IPO, float, get on the ASX. The market would go from 20 to a buck, 20 cents to a buck, and then it would just fall out of the sky, because from there they've actually got to start giving results. So I think that's what's happening in cryptos. There's all new cryptos opening up left, right, and center. They're going bananas. People are trading them up, taking profits. So you would expect. So now I think there's going to be maybe not really a rebalancing of the market, but probably going from retail to professional. You know, more of a retail-based market to professional-based market, where the dodgy coins or the dodgy ICOs or they've got no substance to them are going to get left by the wayside, and it's going to be like the cream of the crop rising. And I'm hoping that the Ivycoin is one of those. It's really appealing to the banks if all they do what they say they're going to do, and build it the way they are. It's not like mining where you've got to dig a hole to find out what's there. It's just IT. It's just a matter of building it into the blockchain. So the blockchain is the important thing. So what they're doing basically, which is different, is putting in or the overlay into the blockchain, or they're building it within the blockchain, is the KYC, know your client details. So any transaction, they'll be able to send the details of the client and of the transactions, and quite a lot of details. So that makes it very appealing to banks to be able to transfer between banks, transfer from cryptos to fiat currency or cash into the account. Whereas previously the banks were steering clear of cryptos because of, well, they are steering clear at the moment because of the lack of know your client, and the people will be able to, you know, nefarious or skeptical transactions going through. So the banks are steering clear of that because of all their regulations. So I think it'd be very appealing, and at 10 cents, I think it's worth a go. The way the markets are at the moment, the way cryptos are at the moment, and who's to say that cryptos we're not going to see another leg up and the market just to blow up again. But we'll see. We'll see. I think it's quite good. So anyone has more questions, just feel after the stream, just send us an email or feel free to give us a call. You can use the Trade Direct number. I think it's 1-800-886-514 and press 2. And you'll get me, hopefully. Anyway, let's kick on to the next thing. So we got... What do we got here? You're asking ICO. Just gone through that. The ASX, gone through that. We're going to look at EPT. Let's get on to that. We got... Let's get rid of this first. Best fit. EPT. I won't lie, it's annoying me down here. I don't know why it's got pumped the last few days, and I would expect there's a bit of heat coming out of that. It's had a good pop up, good rally up, and that's just, you know, rejection, pretty solid rejection. It's about here. If it doesn't hold here, we're going to get stopped out. It's the way it is. I think around 6.3 cents, but I do think that it's in a nice little spot. We can build a high low. The weekly trend, and that's probably why you just get that weekly rollover on the stochastics, and people are just looking at that for a signal to sell. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. There's not much to talk about, I guess. It's still holding the trend higher. This is the key level below 6. We've got an inside minor level because I didn't want to risk too much on this. We're just below our inside high low. I just put our stop below there. So I expect if it doesn't pick up from here and goes sideways, we may just close it out, but you want to give it an opportunity still to kick back up and start targeting through that 9 cent level up to, you know, 10, 10 and a half on EPT. But still, nothing's really changed for us on that one. The market's still holding higher lows, so that's a positive thing. It's just the last couple of days of selling. I think it's got more to do with the stock is not a heavily traded stock. More got to do with your retail traders, just, you know, your bears coming out going, I don't want to hold anything anymore because the market's rolling over. So I think it's more to do with that than a reason for selling, if that makes sense. Any technical or fundamental reason for selling, they're just locking in gains because I think the market's going to roll over. But we'll see. We'll see who wins. EPT, new leg up soon. Yeah, exactly. I hope so. Feel free to put in any codes you want to have a look at, guys. We've got one from Helen sent through an email on BLA. Not a buy recommendation from her. I'm not saying that she was looking at buying it, but just pointing it out that it's probably in a good little zone. And maybe today was some good little action. On the daily, we're just starting to see it pick up. And if I remember correctly, I'll draw it up. What was it called? Blue Sky Alternative Investments Limited. So you can see the trend's higher. We're having just the one thing I'm not too keen on. We've got that little correction lower. It's washing out. You know, reversion back to the mean. You built the high low. Beautiful little entry through here. Pop up off the support zone. You can see it's had a little push down, pop up, another push down to retest it, and then it's sort of held around those highs, and then bang, up we go. So perfect little entry, especially the fact that going across the top, we're just starting to come out of contraction. And this is what we want to look for, this type of setup, just when it starts getting out of contraction. By contraction, just meaning that I'm breaking that resistance line. Breaking through there, so it's looking like the buyers are starting to win, then you're just looking for an entry. And then we got that entry that's led us back up to the highs. The problem is we've just got up to the highs and we've dropped off the highs. So I'm not a big fan of that type of setup, so I wouldn't buy it here. As in, and it's I think the same with Helen was saying. Wouldn't buy it just here. It hasn't set up quite yet, but it is, you can see by the stochastics, it's right down, it's into oversold territory. So the pressure to get it down here from the sellers is getting soaked up. So there is potential this is going to be a high low because the buyers are soaking up the selling pressure at higher levels than this high low, around the $12 mark. We're currently around, what are we, 13.80. So this one here, you want to see the same sort of price action. Maybe it's come down, it's just starting to bounce off. We're getting this choppy price action, and when it breaks out of this contraction, then you're just looking for an entry. And it could work out the same. Got a bit more work to do, I would expect, from here, just to chop around between, say, 14 and 13.80 or 14.20 and 13.80. Bounce around through there and then pop up. And if this doesn't take us up and through 15, yeah, you'd probably be a bit skeptical that we're going to keep grinding higher. It may need a deeper correction to bring in some more buyers. But yeah, that was BLA. The weekly, yeah, it's getting a bit overcooked on the weekly. That's the only problem. You've got the divergence. I know people looking at there, and you've had this nice little run up, a solid pullback, and then bang straight back up, and then we're starting to fail around that 15 mark. So the weekly's not saying the best of signs. So if it is something that's on your radar, just be wary of that. There could be, and you can see by the way the MAs are apart and the way this market's gone up, how high it's gone up. Sorry, not how high, how vertical. So the space of time to get that high has been a lot quicker than just getting these gains through here. So it took a year, say from here, to start breaking out again. And we've only done it in the last few, probably 6 months or so. So it's been a good strong leg up near vertical. So you would expect if we're going to fail up at these 15 mark, we can't pop through it. You'd expect a deeper correction and washing out a few more of these late traders up around the 12 to 15 mark, washing them out of the market, putting them back on the sidelines, build a major high low, which could take another 6 months to a year, and then going again. Otherwise, if you buy it in here, if it doesn't break through 15, just jump straight back out. I would expect anyway, because I would expect that to happen on the weekly. So you've got this two that are competing against each other, the weekly and the daily chart. Daily doesn't look too bad. It could set up. But even if it does set up and it gets through 15, you've got to question how far it can go. And you've got to be on your guard that it's going to run out of steam pretty quickly. Yeah. Thanks, Alan. I think I'm on the right chart now. I'm only halfway through this coffee. That's the problem. All right. So what else we got? TGA. We'll get into that. Way nearly got 0.6, 0.8. I'm guessing we're talking about EPT still. Yep. If it's the case, then order for Ivycoin. Oh, yes, good question. I think it's paid in US dollars on Ivycoin, and it is. I forgot to mention. I keep forgetting to mention. It's for sophisticated investors. So you obviously got to qualify for sophisticated investing, or to be a sophisticated investor. Good income and assets, or I think it's one of the other, or both. I can't remember. But if you are, you'd know pretty quickly. So it is for sophisticated investors, which is a shame. I thought it might have been for open to retail, but I think they're doing that because, well, you'd like to think because it's a good product, a good solid product, and they want a good solid foundation of buyers in there. Because the way it is, you get retail in there, they'll chop and change, they're in and out like a yo-yo. So they can get some good sophisticated investors in there, I always forget the word for it. Prop traders, bigger traders like that into the mix, then it should be good. All right, back to it. What do we got? We had one TGA. Let's look at that. It's like the PGA tennis. Who's watching the tennis? I hope you could all still hear me, all right? All right. Chart, TGA. Doesn't look good. That's your weekly. I don't like it. I'll be brutally honest. It's near the lows from 2009. You've had this big move up from 2009 to end of 2015, and it's had the last three years going down. It is, of course, it's getting extended down here. It was extended back in 2015 to the lows. We had this push down, pop back up. We've got a major lower high, bang, straight down again. And we're approaching, near that 30 to 40 cent mark. What are we at? 80 cents now. That doesn't look good. The weekly looks no reason to buy the weekly at the moment. And the daily is the only thing that's got something going for it. So into context of what's happening, I think I did see this one, to be honest. I was having a look at this one, and it's, you know, when you have such a downtrend, you know, you just go back to the weekly. This move down, it's been so strong. I think to start attracting buyers again, it's got to do something good. It's going to take a long time to start building that base again. So I think what you're seeing on the daily is nothing like that base that we need to see built before we start rising again. I want to work off, if I'm going to buy into this one, I want to work off a high low on the weekly, not the daily, because I think the daily can easily be a bit of a fake out. You can see this move here, this sort of, it's holding through this level around, say, give or take around 75, 70 to 80, and it's just popped through 80 today. It's up 1% today. It's just popped through 80 today, but it rejected the highs. It's got to 83.5. It's back down to around 80, 81. So that's not a good sign, because really just looking at this as being corrective, and corrective means that there may be not much legs in a trade if you're going to go long on that one. November. Ooh. Was that just before it capitulated, or just after? If it was just after, on the end of November, beautiful. That was nice, Helen. So yeah, this could just pop higher, and then we could roll over and just continue that weekly trend down, targeting towards 40 cents. This could just be a prime position. It's just reversion back to the weekly mean, weekly averages, and then you see sellers starting to hit it. Anyone that hasn't got out here, has been holding it. They might have bought it, you know, way back in 2014. They might have bought it on a dip here, and it didn't dip. It just kept going through. So really, it's not setting up for me at the moment, unfortunately. If I was going to buy this through here, I'd have such a tight stop, because I think that could just pop higher a bit, maybe 85, 90, then bang, down she goes again. We'll see. It is. That's the only thing working sort of in its favour. Helen was talking about exhaustion. So you get a gap down here, further exhaustion and capitulation here at 60 cents, and then it started working back up. But you've seen that sort of capitulation here as well, and then it kept going lower, a bit of a retracement back up, and then we kept going lower. So if that's the case, it could be a bit of a grind higher, and then bang, down we go again. You just got to be on guard, I guess. I would prefer to see on a weekly chart, if we can draw it up, and this is where I'll be referring to the weekly, because let me just draw that up. Wrap is a good example. We did that on Wrap. I'm still in Wrap, and it's just a grind. It's an absolute grind. A gap down, and it's been trying to hold the lows, keep popping up, and then get sold back down again. So it's just really been going sideways the last year or so. And that's because a lot of people have been flushed out of the market. You've got a bit of taste in their mouth. And, you know, rather than get into something that you're pissed off with, go and look somewhere else for a trade, because there's so many stocks around. So that's what I think it's got to drag in the buyers again, give them confidence. Now, Thorn Group, I'm just trying to say on the weekly. Big move down, one. We could be in the mid still. We could just pop up here, then bang, we go down again, targeting sort of towards 40. But what I'd like to see, you've got this move down, this good move back up. So we're down about here at the moment. And if we're popping up, I'd rather see, maybe move down, a bit of a grind higher. And then maybe, I want to see it, have another exhaustion down towards those lows. Then I want to see it's sort of in oversold territory on the weekly, and then either retest, whether it retests, flushes it out, has a bit of a washout of that level, and then pop back in, or a high low. I don't care, but if it comes back down again, and then you see it starting to lift from there, the second time round at that level, then I think that's going to be nice. Yeah. Yeah. It is, Nando. Yeah, true. I mean, you just got to be on your guard, isn't it? So I hope that makes sense. So either way, I mean, there's money to be made in it. You've got to be, active. This is not a long-term one for me at all. But there's potential on the daily, but where it goes to from here, who knows? What else? The next one is SHV. SHV. Now this looks a bit better. So if we go, this is one I have got my eye on at the moment. This is, I like this a lot more, and you can see even though it's down near those lows, we're sort of just what we drew up. If we go back, we can see something like this. You know, set a bit of grind off, come back down and retest the lows. I suggest that SHV, it hasn't confirmed on the weekly just yet, but that looks ideal. You can see how it's retested, even washed out these lows, the prior lows. So it's popped up, it's grinded its way back down. So this price action is awesome on a weekly. It's good for buying. If you see, this is different. This is a complete whitewash. It's a big sell-off. You know, this move, actually just draw that. So this action here, after you've got this move up, you know, this leg up was unabated really, all the way up to say, what was it, 13.50, then boom, straight down. It really didn't look back at all, just bang, straight down. It got down to $4. And then you've got this, it wasn't too bad actually, it wasn't too bad of a move up. And then this sort of grind lower is, I don't mind that. You know, if you're looking to go long, you don't mind seeing this because it means that there's buying on the way down. It keeps popping up, so people are trying to buy it, trying to support it. What it's got down to that low. It's retested that low, and then we've got this gap up. And your key level really is just above $5. If we get into the daily, we'll probably see it. But that's looking like it's just in the midst of holding a higher low on the weekly chart and starting to show a bit of strength. And if you take it across the top, you can see it's just starting to, it was probably only really the last few days, just starting to break out. Does that make sense, the difference in price action? So this is a capitulation. So there's been a lot of people put it on the sidelines, maybe a lot of shorts built up there. And then this is going to be here. If there's shorts jumping in here or people who are still trying to get out, there's buying support in here. It looks like there's buying support. And I like this type of grind lower. And that you would expect after a second retest of that low around, what is it, $4 $4 level. Just go to the daily now. $4. We've even had a washout here and then bang, grind back up. We just took out this previous lower high. We're grinding again and we're starting to pop up. And today that price action is nice. So it's looking very much like we built a longer term high low and we're at the start of potentially a good move back up, which could easily take you up to $8 at your first port of call, up to $8. You know, risk reward looks good in that. A gap fill. Oh, not. Yeah, it probably was, wouldn't it? Higher 422. 421, there you go. 1 cent. Beautiful. If that's the gap you're talking about. So it looks good. You filled the gap there and we started holding again. And this, God, actually that would have been a nice entry. I don't know why I didn't alert that. Just doing good, just a buy through, if you can see, off a daily chart. And remember exactly what the weekly has done. What the weekly was doing. You know what we just talked about? We've got that major level at 4, wash out here, gap up. It's taken out the anchor, only slightly, only by a cent or two. You've got the gap fill back down to here, which Helen mentioned. And then we're just holding potential higher low. So you just take it across there. This little entry, well, that's not even straight. Little entry just through there with a breakthrough. Actually, I'll draw that in a different color. Entry through there, you hold your wrist down there. What's that? I think it's 80 to 40. So it's only about a 40-cent stop with your first port of call up to 5.30. So you're already 50 cents up. It's just over 1-to-1 with the first port of call up there. But if this kicks on, you're in a prime position. You've got the weekly buys starting to step in. You've got some daily buys stepping in, and then taking us up to $8. Risk reward's fantastic. So yeah, that's probably a good example of just putting together your plan, putting together your chart, and see what it says. That's a nice one there, Helen. Greg, what do we got? BLG. I think I'm starting to need new. That's beautiful. Starting to need new glasses. About midday to 1 o'clock, I start getting a bit. I have to lean back a bit from the computer. It's killing me eyesight. Okay. So BLG, blue gas. Is it traded today? Not a lot. It's pretty much unchanged. So first, picking up off the weekly. So just looking at this one. Just to step back, I know this is a monthly, but look at that monthly. You've got a nice base through that, give or take 10 cents. It's touched below 10 cents, kicked up strong, all the way back down to retest that zone, you know, say 5 to 10 cents. And we worked our way back up, broke the previous lower high. And that's way back in 2012, 2013. Broke that, had a good little pullback to 22 to build a major high low. And we're just in the midst of coming back out. So if you go down to the weekly, low to high, well, say we've got 5 to 40, 35 cents. Take that low to high. If that's the case, if we're going to break through these highs, which we just did, and we're still looking positive, take the low to high. You've got, I already forgot what I said, 35 cents plus, say 22.77, if I'm right. 57. God, my maths is horrible. Yeah, that's right, 57 cents, so I'll say up towards 60. So you've got a move that could potentially take you up to 60 on this weekly. All right, and we're in a good zone. That selling pressure, there's been some good selling pressure around the 50%. We're not really oversold, overbought. We're just halfway. Good selling pressure, nowhere near the previous high around, high low at 30. We're building a high low, particularly just above 35, which you can see just through here, 35, 36. Starting to break up again. So look, it looks really nice, I think, from here. We draw that up. Let me just have a look at that. 40 cents. Oh, I forgot all about that. Let me just check. I've got a feeling. So I didn't read the rest of your comment then, Greg. I just want to check on that. BLG. Yeah, no, that's triggered. That triggered yesterday with that pop up. Yeah, so that's actually looking like it did trigger. Let me just check the chart. Sorry, I missed that one completely. It's actually got it on my alert, but didn't take much notice of it. I didn't think we had any running. I don't know why. So that one didn't actually get through the stop level at 34. So our stop level would have been 34. It didn't touch that, so it was still holding trend higher. And it's just broken up yesterday. So we're looking good on that one. I still think it looks really, really nice. I still think it's going to grind higher. Let's just see what, just want to make sure. I'm going to have to alert that now. Oh, what a goose. There you go. 40 up to 41s. I thought it was going to trigger them, but you can just see that price action was up towards here. And it did back off from there since the alert, but it didn't breach these previous lows. Actually held a slightly, I think 1 cent higher low at 36, not 35, and then we've just taken off. So that's up and running. There's nothing wrong with that, Greg. I'll go and alert that just to make sure that everyone does know, anyone that did have it, that was still running. Normally, the idea is if it doesn't trigger the entry and it goes down to trade through that where the stop level would be, something's wrong. It's cancelled, but it didn't do that. So yeah, I just missed it. All right, I'll get into that one. I'll send it off later today. So when did it trigger? It might have triggered towards the close. Nah, it triggered 40. It triggered towards the open yesterday. So sorry about that. Missed that completely. So yeah, that looks good. Either way, I like it. And that's the reason why. So I think I'd like to see just that higher low. It looks like it could pull back. If we build that higher low, we've got our risk. I'm probably going to move it around. Well, I might just leave it at 34. Got that move up. It's broken through here. So you're targeting at least up to 40 and above. We see if they can get that move up from here. So what's that? That's about 30 up to 40, 10 cents. 35 up to 45 before we have a decent correction, but we're still targeting up towards that 57 to 60 mark. I think that's a fair target, and that would be risk reward would be really nice on that one. Snooze. You snooze, you lose. Yeah, you feel like a goose when you miss them. I had that triggered yesterday too. Oh well. All right, any more? We'll look at SMI. And then I guess you all know the next alert that's going to come out. Let's go back here. It's not massive volume on that one, so we'll just keep an eye on that. What was it? SM1. Still looking at it. It looks. Yeah. This is what's good. You can see this is SM1, just what Helen's put up. SM1, yeah. Synlait Milk Limited. You can see that it's got these lower highs, but it's getting well and truly. That's a clear shot at $6. Again, from here, for me, just to look to buy into this one, I'd just like to see that high low. I'd just like to see your typical, whoa, right there now. That's a clear, pattern. What do you call that? Flag. Yeah, so it could, for me, it's got to maybe trade up to 680. If we can get up, if I can just draw that. So that's we're there now. Let's just change colors now. So if we can just pop up here, I don't care if it goes through or touches it, then we get up that high low. That's what I would look to be entering in on. Because once you get that, that's a good sign that's breaking out of this contraction lower. So this contraction lower, lower highs, it's pressuring that $6. The buyers are well and truly standing their ground at $6. And you can see the way it bounced off quite strong here. That selling was quite good. Chipped around here, you can see, and then boom, up. So it only took a couple of days to get back up again. A lot of time grinding down, bang, 2 days to get back up again. And today. So the buying is look up off $6. It's pretty good. So all we're really looking for, what I would be looking for personally anyway, is that little break up out of contraction. And then hopefully get a higher low to work off. And that's just more confirmation that buyers are stepping up to the plate at higher prices. And you're going to get this break up it's going to bring this to a lot of people's attention. And they'll look at the chart, draw it up just like we did and go, hang on, so this is breaking up out of contraction. If we can see a higher low, the high low brings in more buyers, take it through that high or just an inside level, then that's confirmation you're on the right side of the market's lifting, people are pressing it up, you're in nice and early, and then you're going to be looking up to at least through that 730 mark and above. All right, I think that's about it there, guys. That's about it for us. So we'll probably call it a day there. If there's anything else you did want to look at and you've missed asking, or you didn't get a chance, or you didn't want to, just send it through. You can send it through an email to support@tradesetup.com.au, and we're going to chat about it on Monday. Even if you send it through Monday morning, if you're looking at something on the weekend, you want to send through a chart, feel free, and we'll chat about it. And thanks very much, Greg, for alerting me. And congratulations again, mate. Well done. I won't say, not my place to say anyway. Anyway, thanks very much, guys, for joining me. I hope you had a good day and have a great weekend. And I'll speak to you again on Monday. Cheers, guys. Enjoy.